How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I just spent a lot of money on a crypto, and I want to talk about that towards the end of the video. I also want to cover some of the top news in the market today, take a look at some really interesting things, and I think this is going to be really interesting to watch over the next few days. I want to bring some of these things up to you. We have some cryptos doing really well today, even though the market's kind of sideways and actually down a little bit. We have some cryptos doing really well, and we have kind of a decoupling away from the normal stock market. So if you guys don't mind hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button, I really appreciate that. It helps out the channel a lot. Also, just so you guys know, I will be talking about this a little bit more later, but FTX is a sponsor of the channel. Underneath the video, there's a link to get an extra discount on trading fees, and you get a free crypto every time you trade $10 or more. You can track a bunch of different portfolios in it. And I do want to talk about one other thing that they allow, which is awesome, and I'll talk about that more a little bit later. Now, the general stock market was down pretty significantly today. On my phone, I'm looking right here, 1.21% down for the NASDAQ. Now, typically we would expect the crypto market to be even worse than that, but crypto actually wasn't that bad today. And honestly, this is fluctuating so much, it could be positive here in a few minutes, honestly, because Bitcoin's just been fluctuating between about 46.7 or so and about 47.7. So just floating in that range. And some people are wondering, why aren't we going up today? Well, sometimes we do see a little bit of sideways action. I mean, we were just at 37,000 a couple weeks ago. So let's not get too greedy here. It's nice to see some kind of consolidation before we blast through new resistances. Now, we still have positive news. Supply in exchanges is falling, and that's the lowest in 3.5 years. We have Luna, which is still purchasing. I think they took a little bit of a break yesterday, but now they bought about 3,000 Bitcoin worth about $139 million. And Michael Saylor gives a good point to why people actually want this. For first-time homebuyers, the inflation rate is 19.2%. Because the currency supply is expanding faster than the housing supply, we are monetizing property. By this measure, treasuries often offer a yield of minus 17%. So people need to find other assets to invest in. It's not like we have a 1.5 or 2% inflation rate. You need to kind of invest in some of these assets, because otherwise you're just going to lose so much to inflation over time. And asset inflation is even worse than the normal consumer inflation that we're seeing in our food and some other areas. So people are looking for hard assets, and Bitcoin's one of the best of them. And at the same time that's happening, we're having all these different buyers come in. Now, one thing that's really interesting, and we'll get to a couple of cryptos here in a second, some altcoins. One thing that's interesting is we have several cryptos that are nearly the same market cap. I mean, look at this: XRP, Solana, Cardano, and Terra, all within less than 10% of each other, about 6 or 7%. So we're going to see some interesting things happening here, maybe some flippenings here. Terra actually was higher than Cardano earlier, so they're all kind of battling themselves out. Now, 6 and 7 are actually part of the top 5 cryptos if you take out stable coins. So if Terra can blast through this and then XRP falls a little bit, we might have Solana and Terra in the top 5 cryptos. We're also seeing Terra UST that is very close to flipping BUSD. So that's something to pay attention to also. Now, I'm just going to say I'm a very big Solana bull and a very big Terra bull. Those are two of my top cryptos now, and I'm really excited about them. Now, the massive bet that I took just a little while ago wasn't on those cryptos, but we still have positive things coming for those cryptos. Now, let's take a look at why Solana's up so much. OpenSea is set to integrate with Solana in April, further expanding their NFT ecosystem. Right now, they work with Polygon and Ethereum, but now they're going to offer some of these Solana NFTs. I think that's really bullish, along with the fact that institutional investors are buying a truckload of Solana. Nearly $90 million worth. We have not seen flows like this in a long time. Now, I realize that if you watch all the videos, you might have seen this recently, and that's true, but sometimes it takes a few days for retail to understand what's happening and then to start buying a little bit heavier, or, a lot of the volume just comes from larger traders, so they might be continuously piling into Solana before it's too late, because it is one of the best blockchains out there. Terra's also done really well. It hit an all-time high today, and there are a couple reasons for this. First of all, Terra is run by Do Kwon. Obviously, they continue to buy more and more Bitcoin. That's going to be important, and we'll talk about why that's so important here in a second. But their founder actually made a $10 million bet that it will be a higher price here soon. In the next year, actually 1 year from now, will be a higher price than it is now. Also, their TVL is just expanding like crazy. They're near $30 billion, and it just continues to grow. Like a lot of these other cryptos peaked and then fell, like BSC, you can see back here, Avalanche, you can see it's kind of been stable. Phantom dropped a decent amount as well. So a lot of these are just, they pumped up and then they fell, and now they're starting to return, but Terra just continues to do really, really well. So it is going to continue to do that as long as there's still a lot of trust in the system and the algorithmic coin, and the algorithmic peg. Now, that's where the backing of Bitcoin really comes in. So I say backing, there's some back and forth of whether it's actually backing. You can see neither the Bitcoin Reserve nor Luna is backing USD as a form of collateral. What happens is, and this is a really good thread, I'll leave a link to this underneath the video if you want to follow it, and he does have a video that explains this as well. Basically, the problem with UST in general and Luna is this death spiral, where Luna, this is the main fear of people, Luna loses value, therefore there's a bank run on UST, and then more Luna is minted, and then Luna loses more value. So people just lose faith in the peg, and basically how it works now is you can mint Luna or you can mint UST, and they're supposed to hold each other in check. So these traders can come up with pretty good rewards, or can come away with instant profit if the peg comes off too far. So where does Bitcoin come in? Well, this is what they say. In connection with the stewardship and support of Terra ecosystem, LFG is establishing a decentralized UST reserve, a non-profit initiative to provide a further layer of support to ensure the UST maintains its peg. In an event where the market price of UST material deviates from the USD peg, holders of UST will be able to close the arbitrage and bring the market price of UST back to peg by swapping UST for major non-correlated assets like Bitcoin. So let's just get to how this works. Let's say the peg for UST falls to 0.97, so 3% off. Well, you could go take that UST out of circulation, sell it to the defender, that's what they call it in this diagram. Basically, you could sell it to the reserve and get 98 cents worth of Bitcoin back. So if there's ever a problem where we start death spiraling, and then you don't trust the system, you can always just sell back and then get Bitcoin. There's an arbitrage opportunity where you could buy it, let's say 97 cents, sell over here, get 98 cents of Bitcoin, and just continuously do that and make profits until the peg is fixed. So that gives a lot of people some trust that, hey, when we're using this ecosystem, there is that extra layer of defense if they do have Bitcoin backing, which is really interesting. And Do Kwon has said that he wants to be the largest holder of Bitcoin, more than even Michael Saylor, besides Satoshi. So he wants over 125,000 Bitcoin, which would be a significant amount. It would take a lot off exchanges, and he's buying a spot, so it would push up the price. Now, moving to something that's not necessarily as bullish, we'll cover in a second, but I guess one more piece of bullish news. Bitfinex CTO says we're really close to multiple nations adopting Bitcoin. Now, there are a handful of different nations that are talking about it. Maybe we'll get more information on that here in a bit at the Bitcoin conference, maybe. But let's cover some bad news, and then we'll cover the major investment that I made recently. Voyager ordered by New Jersey to cease and desist. So this is the next order, I think, in a long line of orders that are going to come for all these companies that are giving interest. Now, I use Voyager, so I want to see what this was. So they are essentially giving everyone a security right now. That's what the SEC is claiming. New Jersey says that, or that's what New Jersey is saying. New Jersey claims that about 53,000 accounts and 187 million in assets are from their state. And they're saying that they can't have any new accounts right now. And this is happening in other states as well: Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, Kentucky, Vermont. And the way I see this is, a couple things. So they talked about this on their website, that they essentially can't open new accounts, new interest accounts in these areas. However, similar to BlockFi, they're going to continue to give interest out to the people that use their account. So if you're using it now, you'll continue to gain interest. It's going to be a problem for anyone that's trying to get interest in the future, like once this goes into effect. So if you are going to get an account, it would make more sense to do it now. Or if you want to put more on there, it makes sense to do it now. But soon you won't be able to get that interest, at least until they're registered through the SEC as a security. And then that's going to be the same case with a lot of these other exchanges. It's something that's scary for the people that have crypto on the exchange. It shouldn't be scary, but it seems really scary. And also, it's just going to cut down on some of the new user growth, I think, of these platforms, because that's one of the things that they have over the likes of other entities and other platforms. But this kind of levels a playing field, and it makes sense. I think this is going to continue to happen with pretty much anyone that offers an interest program. Now, onto my major investment. This is something that I spent a lot of money on, and I didn't think I was going to, because honestly, I've done a terrible job at making money on this so far. And stick with me here, because it's something that I don't talk about too much on my channel, but it is very directly correlated with how crypto does. So I bought an NFT, the most expensive NFT that I've ever bought. This is an imposter's NFT. This is through, made by a huge YouTuber, Elio Trades. So if you don't know Elio Trades, he's a really well-known YouTuber, really big into NFTs, really big into crypto, really smart guy. And he's been building this for years. Now, I have done a terrible job of investing in NFTs. I've never bought one that actually went up in value. Now, some of them I bought just because I like the artwork. Some of them I bought because I think they'll do well for utility in the future. But I spent 1.73 Ethereum on this, so basically $6,000. Every time that I've had a strong feeling about buying an NFT, and I didn't, I regretted it, because they've done really well. Every time that I have bought one, it seems like it's gone down in price. But I actually tried to mint the Bored Apes Mutant, but I got in 10 minutes too late. So I had everything all ready. I went to do it, and then let's take a look at what mutants are going for now. But they went up in price so much since I tried to get in on them. I could have minted it for 2.5 ETH, and I was going to do two of them. I had the ETH ready, and I just missed out. So I missed out on 130 grand, 140 grand. Now, I think that this could do really well. I also think it could go down pretty drastically. Now, Elio Trades is a really stand-up guy. He's done really well for the community, and he said that he's in this for the long haul. Alex Becker and Elio Trades have done really well in their NFTs before. So I took a major bet on this. I also think, Ethereum overall is going to do well, and this is also really correlated to Ethereum because you're paying for everything in Ethereum. If Ethereum's if the floor price stays the same but Ethereum goes up significantly, well, then I still made money. If Ethereum falls down and the floor price goes up, if I do try to sell and try to convert back to USD or USD, then I'll still lose money. So I am betting not only on imposters, but also on Ethereum. Ethereum has their Ethereum 2.0 merge coming up. I know it's not 2.0, but the Ethereum merge coming up. They also will turn deflationary. I think of this as a long-term buy and hold NFT, part of a great ecosystem. It's hard to get into because it is expensive. So there is some scarcity there. There are people that really want to be in this community, and it's hard to get into because it has a very high barrier of entry. And I still think Ethereum will do well over time, and crypto's looking really good over time. Now, I would say if you are interested in NFTs at all, just know it's really risky. I told my Patreon about this, but I could very well lose half my money or more, 90% of my money on this. So I'm not telling you to go out and buy it. I'm just saying that's what I'm doing. Now, also, FTX, I talked about this earlier. The great thing about FTX is they have NFTs on there, and you don't have to pay any gas fees. So when I buy on OpenSea, I have to pay gas fees, and sometimes it can cost hundreds of dollars. On FTX, it's free. So if you guys haven't checked that out, some of the lowest fees out there, no claiming fees for their NFTs because they're on chain, and they give you free crypto. So there's that link underneath the video. But let me know what you guys think about this underneath the video as well. Do you think I'm making a huge mistake buying this NFT? Do you think it'll do well, or do you think it'll do terribly? Are you interested in NFTs? Have you watched Elio Trade's channel? Let me know. I've already lost 0.03 ETH, but that doesn't matter short term. Long term, I'm excited to be part of this. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.